residual income of somewhere between 13,000, really that should be north of 20 to 25,000 in passive residual income. And I'm so blessed. Jarrell, I know you have the same experience. Dan, you're traveling the world. I don't know if you're in Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Myrtle Beach, Michigan, and what an opportunity to be in a business in today's world, where you're not having to worry about where your next kitchen table is, where you're driving to. You're hopping right on Zoom. I mean, we are on Zoom meeting each other. Jarrell, you got the golden mic on Zoom. It's all, you couldn't take that thing to a kitchen table appointment. So what a wonderful thing that we're in. Sell me some freedom, guys.
Yeah,
Jarrell,
listen.
tell me a little bit about what you've been up to.
Hey, I might take the mic with me, bro. It might be good because people like,
You
where do you get the
should.
golden mic from? So that's a good idea,
It's
right?
a closing
But it's
tool.
crazy because you talk about freedom and just listen to your story, and I'm like, man, what a business, right? What a business where you did the work, right? It's not like you didn't do the work prior. Like you've been in business for what? How many? 11 years, I
11
believe.
years. Yeah,
11 years.
we
So
had basically a good strong 6 year run that allowed us to now be free.
so you paid the price, right? And I think a lot of times, I know you see you're embarrassed, but it's like I wouldn't be embarrassed. Nothing to be embarrassed about. You paid the price and you expected to win, and now look at the results that are happening. I mean, 13 grand to be at a hospital, right? Be with your wife, be present, be in the moment. Like that speaks volumes. People don't have that ability to do so, and that's the freedom that we talk about. But like even today, this kind of, I mean, my freedom's not yours yet, right? But even today, my daughter had her first band concert, right? And so just the ability to be able to make the decision, like, hey, dad will be there. And it's funny because she didn't know I was coming. I was like, didn't I tell you? She's like, no. And I came, she's like, dad, right? And it was just like a great feeling because we got to be at her band concert. And I got to work too, right? And that's the beautiful thing about being virtual, being able to hop on Zooms because after the band concert, I was able to go to her mom's work and work from her office. Then Jack and I brought on a new business partner. I helped the client increase their coverage, right? And then honestly, probably like 20 minutes ago, just got back home, right? But I was able to be present, like pick the girls up from school, right? Go, have a little bit time to eat. And then, like, hey, we got to get on the road because we got to, annual compliance, our favorite time of the year, right? And so, you talk about freedom. I don't take that for granted because I remember those days where I couldn't do that, right? It was like, let me call my boss and see if I can get it off. And most of the time, I was like, no, you can't have it off. And it's crazy because I just remember it like yesterday where I wasn't able to do those things and just to eat me up because I want to be there for my kids. I want to be present, but then I couldn't. And it's like, dang it, but that's why we built the business. And so I just love that you share that because I mean, $0 in premium and you made 13 grand. What a business. What a business. So
Well,
it's like,
and I think so many people get wrapped up in this world today. We're in this huge push for kind of people getting sold on financial freedom, but they're getting sold financial freedom on million. You got to have a million. You got to have all this money saved. You got to have all this. In my opinion, thank God we are financially free. A part of that is because we live way below our means. We keep our expenses low. We live below our means, but we are financially free. Now we're not wealthy yet, but we're financially free because the passive residual income that comes into us takes care of all of our bills and expenses. So Jeff Miller, perfect, right? We have passive income. We are financially free. Now we're building the wealth. Okay. So we also map 50% of our income. So 50% of all of our cash goes into our investment account. So that is building the wealth while we are financially free. But I was talking to Dan earlier, and I said, Dan, you could have a horrible day in Primerica, and you know what I do on my worst days? I came from the banking world. Draw. I would go to the bank and I would make a deposit, and I just ask that teller how they're doing. How's your day? How's things been here? And they're like, oh, Nate, you remember what it was like. And then I get chills, and I'm like, oh, thank God I'm not there anymore. I do remember what it's like. But Dan, sell us a dream, man. You guys are traveling all over. I love that you have the ability to work wherever you're at. It was Michigan, Florida, Myrtle Beach now, and you're still building big base shop. You're recruiting all over the place, and you're living a lot of people's dreams where you're able to, in my opinion, build a life around your business and not a work around your life, and like not having to be present with your kids. And it's so amazing.
Yeah, one of the things that when we got brought into the business, we loved about the business was that we could do it when we wanted to, right? And so we came in guns blazing, did a whole bunch of production. I mean, I had meetings literally scheduled all day long, got to RVP, made 100 grand in our first 7 months. And I was like landlocked at my desk, to be honest with you. Like I was on appointments all day long. And don't get me wrong, like there's a certain amount of like I miss that like I don't want to say like rat race, but I miss that like work happening at times because it is fun. It's actually really fun. But like now what we're doing is like I'm working just as hard, but I've figured out how to make it make sense with my kids and my wife and like what we're trying. So for those of you that don't know, we moved to South Carolina from Florida 3 months ago with the full intention of planting a church. And so like we're going through like a church planting residency, and we're able to really like do all of these different things that we feel like called to do that are way beyond the insurance and investment space. And don't get me wrong, like I love what we do, and there's certainly a calling into this world as well. But like I just believe that for my life, for my wife and I, and for our family, we're just called to like win souls for Jesus. And that's what we're here to do. But like this is going to allow us to be able to do that. And so one of the things that when I was recruited that my field trainer told me is like one day you'll be able to buy a church. And like I hated that statement. It really frankly made me mad. But what that turned into for Taylor and I was a goal to eventually be able to fully fund a church plant ourselves out of our own income. After I got over the fact of like what was said, I was like, you know what, whatever, just, but the reality is the income that you can make here can allow you to live into your purpose at a whole nother level than what you think you can. And so for us, like when we moved here, Taylor and I like recommitted to like, hey, we have to figure this out because we have 2 years, and in 2 years we're going to plant the church, and that's going to be the focus. And we need to figure out how to get Primerica to 300-400 grand a year at least of like entirely passive, right? Like where Nate, like what you said, like you don't have to do anything and you have 15-20,000 a month coming in without anything coming from you. That's awesome. Like that's where we want to be in 2 years at least. But like what we're going to do, what our goal is to be able to at that point take a step back and be able to lead the team, still do a little bit of production, but the focus be on the church plant. And that's like what we've started to figure out. And like Jeff said, like he said he's great at time management. Like I don't like to toot my own horn at all, but like that's not like I'm really effective with my time. Like I figure out a way, ask Taylor, like I disc golf almost every day. Like I go to the gym every day. Like I'm 5x4, 5 recruits and 4,000 or 3,000, I guess, in personal premium 7 months, 7 days into the month. Like, and so, and I'm still doing all the things that I want to be able to do. I'm hanging out with my kids and my family. So anyway, I've been rambling for a couple minutes, but like you can build this however you want. So like if you didn't come here for a full-time job, great, but give it real effort, right? Give it all the work that you need to do. And Jerome, I did not retire from basketball. I just haven't found people to play with here yet. So I picked up a new sport now that I'll definitely beat you in that one. So anyway, go ahead. Nate, go ahead.
I'm intrigued. We got to play disc golf. I've never played before, but I do love
It's
some
so
frisbee.
fun. I love it. It's super fun.
But that's the beauty of this business is understanding, for a lot of people, what did you come here for? For me, it was to make a couple extra $100. It really was. When I got laid off from the bank, I got a home and auto insurance, and I wasn't making much money there. I was actually on a $2,000 draw, which means if I didn't make the commission, I owed it back through compensation. And so when I got laid off from the bank, I was making 60, 70,000 a year there. And so I needed to make up the gap. And Primerica was that gap. And thank God it got a little out of control. Thank God I understood training and developing people. I understood wanting other people to get free. And now, with 10 regional vice presidents, we've got 9 out of the 10 are $100,000 earners or above. Majority of them are over 200,000 in income, multiple owners. And I think, what if we would have quit? What if we threw in the towel? And there's some of you on here tonight. I'm so excited that you're on because right now in the economic times we're in, guys, there's never been a better time for Primerica. And let me just fill you in on a little bit about the company and where we're at. We just crossed 150,000 licensed agents. So we set that goal, a decade of dominance, and we just crossed that 150,000 agents. Let me tell you a little bit about the stock. So when Mel and I became regional vice presidents in 2014, so 10 years ago, our stock was at $52 a share. We were like inches away today from crossing $300 a share today, y'all. I have no doubt in my mind, Primerica next week will break $300 a share. And that's the explosiveness of the company. That's where we're headed. I don't know if you guys have seen it at all yet, but the Naranjos, if you haven't been around a while, they're exploding. They're at $7.8 million a year in income. Guys, they just crossed $785,000 in income for the month of October. One person,
stupid,
almost 800,000 a year in income. And I've calculated all their first gen regional vice presidents in the base shop. I don't see any way that the Naranjos aren't crossing $1 million in income this November, this month. And we're just kicking off the month tonight. Their bonus is going to be north of $400,000, $500,000 a bonus, right? Guys, they promoted regional vice presidents who go out and help families. And that's what we're a part of. We're part of explosive growth. We're a part of just things that are happening right now. And so thank you, Jarrell. Thank you, Dan. You guys are amazing examples of freedom and what's coming. And so, guys, we want to open this up. We want to welcome you to Friday Night Live. We do this every Friday. Tonight's a little different. We got annual compliance meeting, ACM. And so let me give you some coaching. ACM is amazing. We're going to make it as fun as possible. But, guys, all your regional vice presidents on here, we go through audits within the company. Thank God we do. They actually allow us to stay compliant with FINRA, with the state of Michigan, right? We are the most compliant financial services company in the industry. And it's because of what the company does for us. All of the regional vice presidents on here pass their audits with flying colors because we take compliance seriously. We take, servicing our clients. One of the biggest things that I fell in love with Primerica, right? I came from Bank of America. I still bank there. All right. But I came from Bank of America where it was profits over people. And I don't know if many of you know this. We've got the symbol in Primerica, the 3 rings. Guys, you see it over here with my ownership plaque, right? There it is. Boom. The 3 rings. It's our home office. It's our workforce. And it is our clients all working together. In Primerica, we put people over profits. We put our clients first. We do what's right for our clients. And that's because we are incredibly compliant and we follow our annual compliance meeting. So take some tons of notes. We're going to have a fun, I think Mr. Chaos will be back with us this evening with compliance. So guys, we're going to kick it off. Annual compliance meeting. This will certify you guys. Actually, we're going to go over to some announcements first, and then we'll get into compliance. So I didn't want to bypass Jerome. Cecil Cooper bringing us some amazing announcements tonight.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Type it in the chat if you pumped up for ACM annual compliance tonight. But I'm going to share some announcements, and we're gonna dive right in. But let me get this shared with you guys. We will get it going here. So tonight, obviously, you guys know we have our annual compliance meeting. So we're glad that you guys are on time. If you can, Forrest, turn your cameras on. We love to see your beautiful faces. Take some notes. I guarantee you're gonna pick some new information up tonight. And so we have annual compliance that's going on tonight for all of our investment license agents. You do have an additional video that you need to watch. We won't tag that on to the back of the back end of the training tonight. Your regional vice president will get that over to you. Okay, your regional vice president will get that over to you. All right. But a few good announcements here. Hey, we want to honor our veterans and our active military personnel. Type it in the chat if you are a veteran or part of our active military personnel right now. We want to honor you guys in the month of November. In November, the company is waiving the independent business application licensing fee. The company, that is on us this month. That's on the company this month. We want to honor those people that put their lives on the line, right, every day for our country. So grateful and thankful for them. So in the month of November, we're covering that background check for them. They can go get insurance license and investment license on Primerica. I think that is so cool. So you guys need to be talking to the masses, share that on your social medias, contacting people in your family that are veterans or active military personnel, and let them know that we have a great opportunity for them this month. Hey, also, this is the final month of our universal company competition to win that. So the final month to compete for that. See, listen, the company twice a year they take us on all expenses paid for trips. You get the opportunity to win that, get the opportunity to earn that, and these trips are like no other. I promise you. I promise you, in your own downtime, you cannot do Disney World, Universal Studios, any trip that they plan for us. In your own downtime, you can't do it the way the company's going to do it for you. So take a screenshot of this. Talk to your regional vice president. This is the last month for this competition, but talk to your regional vice president or the person that brought you in, or up the first license upline on how to accomplish this. And for you people that are brand new, you're like, dang, Jerome, I'm just now getting started. I haven't been in the company that long. It might be tough for me to win this trip in the last month. That's okay, because we just announced is a Breakaway to the Bay. Our next competition is up and running to get out to San Diego, California, to the Gaylord Pacific Resort. I actually got the opportunity to look this resort up today, Nate. It is gorgeous. It is beautiful. So you definitely you're competing for, as we speak, you are competing for that. So once again, get with your regional vice president, your upline, the individual that got you involved in the business, and ask them, hey, how do you win? I guarantee you they'll show you how to win. So got some competitions going on. Excited to win those with you guys. Hey, be a 2%er in the month of November. Listen, we want to get you some Primerica swag. I love wearing Primerica swag. Got me a Primerica polo on. I think Dan that was on the panel had a Primerica dress shirt polo on. But it's cool I think Nate, I don't know, that might be Nate's on shirt. But it's cool to get some Primerica swag. So we got the 2%er shirt. So how do you win? So become life licensed. So get your life insurance license between the months of August and December, and you're going to get that 2%er t-shirt. For the regional vice presidents, right? If you're among the top 500 regional vice presidents in the new life licensing, right, between August 30th and December 2024, you also get a 200,000 takeover polo shirt. And with the 200,000 takeover polo shirt, Primerica, this is cool. Type this in the chat. Milestone. Primerica just hit a big major milestone of 150,000 licensed reps and agents, making us the largest financial sales force in all of North America. That's a big dang deal. Is it legit? Is it real? Yep, I think so, guys. I think so. So go win you a t-shirt. You got a talking piece to prospect and recruit some people. I promise you. People ask like, hey, where'd you get that shirt from? What does it mean? And for all of our new reps, man, there are a lot of bonuses on the line. I don't know if you knew this as a new representative with us. Type in the chat if you're new this evening, or you're not licensed. You're that new, but you have products and services that you can earn income off of without having a life insurance license or an investment license. So you can screenshot this that we have up on the screen here tonight. These are some of those products and services, but not only can you make money off of those products and services without a license, the company this month, they're tacking a bonus onto it. They're like, hey, not only will we pay you for doing it as a brand new person, but when you do it, we'll also add a bonus onto it. I think that's pretty cool. The company's always finding new ways to, incentivize us and give us bonuses and pay us. So that's pretty sweet. So take a screenshot of that. Talk to your upline about how you can start servicing some of your clients with these additional products and services. And I believe this is my last announcement for the evening. We have our East Coast Builder School coming up. East Coast Builder School coming up to jumpstart. Actually, we need to, so this East Coast Builder School down in Tampa, is it Tampa or Clearwater? Tampa or Clearwater, kind of the same place. But that's in January. Got the dates at the bottom of the screen there. And what Builder School is, guys, so you know, it is 6 months of training jam-packed. We jam-pack it into 2 days. So if you want to expedite the process, you want to really jumpstart your business here, kind of cut out some of that time, compound time frames. The Builder Schools are the best way to do that. The Builder Schools are the best way to do that. And I heard, we don't have it up on the screen here, but we have 8, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, but 8 $1 million per year or more earners that'll be speaking to you, pouring into you, and training you at this Builder School. So that's down in Clearwater, Florida. You got the QR code here. Take a picture of it, screenshot it. Make sure you buy your tickets. Like, here's the game plan. You got enough time. Here's the game plan. Number 1 is you need to get your ticket, right? Let's get that taken care of. Number 2 is you need to take the days off of work now. Take the days off of work now. You got a whole 2 months. So I know some of you will be like, oh, we didn't have time. Well, we're telling you now, 2 months in advance. Take the days off. And then 3 and 4 is we'll work on your travel, get with your regional vice president. We'll work on your stay. We want you there. We want you putting yourself in a position to take your business to the next level. You'll hear us say this a ton. Big decisions are made at big events. And that is the next major event that we're having. East Coast Builder School down at Clearwater, Florida. So screenshot that. Talk to your upline more about the details. We definitely want you there. So without further ado, we are going to hop into our ACM this evening. And we got a video for you guys. So just plug in. This is going to be like movie night at training. So get you some popcorn, eat your dinner, pay attention. We're going to get it going. Go ahead.
Thanks for joining today for our 2024 annual compliance meeting. For those of you who have followed this program over the years, know that I've done it with Glenn for, I believe, 24 years now. And it was funny, I found an old photograph of the two of us together. And frankly, you see the photo here, I was horrified that I'm wearing the same clothes that I did 24. I think that was from 2001. But we're changing the format a little bit this year. And we're going to have Ben Rogers on the program. We will hear from Glenn in just a moment. But Ben is our general counsel, been with us for 5 years. Welcome, Ben, to the program.
Hey, thanks, Peter. It's great to be here again with you and Glenn. And yeah, I love that photo. You guys look so young. It's just amazing how long you've been doing this together. So I'm appreciative that I get to help out with it.
Ben is joining us because his responsibility in the company continues to expand. He's always been our general counsel for the last 5 years, but now he's taken on added responsibilities as the head of our compliance area. Jeff Findler filled that role. He was with us for over 40 years, but now it's in great hands with Ben at the helm. And we're going to talk about compliance. We're going to talk about legal. Ben and I have worked together, actually ourselves, for a few decades, right, Ben?
34 years, I think. Yeah.
34 years. So we were in a law firm together ages ago. And I know Ben as an extraordinary lawyer, a wonderful person, and someone who's a great advocate and defender of the field. But before we get started with our conversation, Ben, let's hear from Glenn. He has a special message.
Thanks, Peter, and thanks to every Primerica teammate for joining us today and investing your time in building a successful Primerica business. At Primerica, we know what it takes to create success. For 47 years, we've had record-shattering success, and our most successful year is this year, 2024. We've never had more field success than we're having today, and we just had an opportunity a couple of months ago to celebrate that at our 2024 convention. At that convention, we also cast a vision about the future, how to be successful between now and the celebration of our 50th year in 2027. So we're focused on success. What's important about today's ACM is to understand that doing what's right is a key ingredient to that success. We aren't compliant because we're successful. At Primerica, we believe we're successful because we're compliant. That's the priority we place on doing what's right. We believe it's a responsibility of ours to do the right thing and treat people in the right way. Our culture includes that expectation. Today's ACM is designed to give you confidence that you know how to do it right and that you can do it right. And that confidence allows you to build a big business and to build it fast. You don't have to ride the brake at Primerica. If you know what you need to do, you know what's expected of you, you can build a great business that does what's right and build it fast. Other companies might use fear and intimidation to enforce compliance. That's not what we do at Primerica. At Primerica, we're a team, the field and the home office working together to do what's right. And today's ACM is an example of the Primerica team in action. Today, you'll get the facts and a full understanding of what doing what's right is all about. But it's just the beginning of our support system. Out on POL, you'll find tons of resources that will help you understand how to do exactly build your business. And then if you can't find it, you can always call for help. That's what our compliance and leadership team is here for, is to help you when you have a question. But when you choose to do what's right, Primerica will support you, will help you, and will stand beside you. That's our expectation. That's our responsibility. Thanks for joining us today.
We just heard a strong message from Glenn that connects the success of Primerica to compliance. It's a very important message for us to have, because a company has to adhere to the rules of the road. And that is part of the success that we have. You know, Ben, in your role as our general counsel, I know you see this every day. And when we talk about compliance, we're not just talking about rules and regulations, right? It's more than that. How do you see it? To add on to Glenn's message, if you
Yeah, thanks, Peter. Well, I mean, I think really it's at the heart of everything we do, because if we're not doing business the right way, we don't have a business. And so part of what makes Primerica so special to me is that there's a commitment at the highest level of the organization, starting with you and Glenn. You know, you guys have been doing this ACM together for over 20 years. That's not how it works in a lot of companies. But also with our field leadership, you know, our senior leaders of the field care so much about doing what's right because they know that's what makes our business special. And the most powerful thing I heard from Glenn was we're compliant, and that's what makes us successful. It's not that we're trying to protect success. It's what makes us successful is doing business the right way. And that's always been at the core of what we do for 47 years.
And let me tell you, when I think about compliance, I don't just think about, okay, here's the rule book. Let's look at the rules and follow that. To me, there's a broader responsibility. It also has a sense of ethics. There's a morality to it. And so, as you know, there's always those times where the rule book has some blanks in it. You're not quite sure how to apply a regulation or a law. And what you're guided by is your sense of what's right, what's wrong, what's ethical, what's not, what's moral, what's not. And you deal with that every day, don't you?
Sure. And that's why I have so much faith in our field, because the field has such a strong sense of moral compass. You know, they care so much about what they're doing. They care so much about taking care of clients. They care about doing things the right way. And so I never worry about, is somebody in our field setting out with a bad motive? What I worry about is trying to help make sure that we're doing everything we can to support them in their business. And we have, you know, the most highly regulated product lines in the world. We have very aggressive regulators. And so our job is to make sure we're giving support and guidance and interpretation on rules that can become complex. But the easy part is the question of integrity, which I never worry about with our field. I know that our folks are always focused on doing what's right for them.
Absolutely. And I would add one thing to that. And it's good business, as Glenn said, it's good business for every field business as well to be compliant, because everyone has built something that's valuable in our ownership program. It can be handed down from generation to generation, and ensuring that continuity includes ensuring that you're compliant, because you can lose the whole business you have.
Correct. And it's all about protecting that business that folks work so hard to build. And it's also about protecting the business for the entire field. So when we have situations, and they don't happen often, but where we have situations where one person gets out of bounds, we need to make sure that we're applying the rules and enforcing the rules because we can't let one person's bad decisions put the rest of the field's businesses at risk.
A great point. Well, let's do this. Let's go to something that I used to do, but now you're going to do, which is hot topics.
Okay.
Every year there's the changes. Every year there's some hot topics. What do you see this year as we're in 2024? What are the hot topics that you're dealing with in the both legal area and the compliance area?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think that, the reality is that something that has been a hot topic for a while and will be a hot topic for the foreseeable future is always social media. And that's because social media now is so vital to how folks build their businesses. And it's just a part of doing business in today's world. And so we have to recognize that. We have to know that social media is important, and we have to help the field navigate through what can be a very complicated set of rules and regulations to use that tool effectively. And like any tool, to be used effectively, it has to be used the right way. And so the things we have resources for the field. We have the social media blueprint. We have the field marketing manual. Those are written resources that are out there on POL that give folks guidance on how to use social media correctly in their business. But we also have tremendous personnel resources in the home office. So we have an entire team of folks who spend all day, every day working on field social media and helping the field understand what's the best way to use it in the business.
What about earnings claims? Because to me, when you think about social media, you dovetail right into earnings claims. And all of us want to share our success as an organization. I know field leaders want to share their success, and intuitively, it says, why can't I just talk about my business? Why can't I talk about my lifestyle? Why can't I talk about what I earn? But there are some special rules because we're regulated by the Federal Trade Commission. Can you I know we're going to get more into detail in the program, but give me your thoughts on that in a nutshell.
Yeah, no, I think that is a thing that I worry about, frankly, because it's so natural for folks to want to talk about their success in the business. And yet it's also such a dangerous area now. And it's an area that the FTC has taken a particular interest in and has a particular perspective on that makes it dangerous for us in our business, particularly in social media, because the thing about social media is it goes out to the world. And so particularly when we have representatives who've developed higher profiles, that can make them more subject to being targeted for other folks who would like to, do harm. And so I think the reality about earnings claims is we have rules, we have guidance, we have procedures, we have examples, all in these materials. And we're going to see more rulemaking from the FTC. They've already said that they're coming out with an earnings claims rule. And that rule, I think we should presume, will be more restrictive than what's currently on the books. And so it continues to be a topic of regulatory focus. And so it is an area, it can be very dangerous for your business. And I think you need to be really careful on social media with earnings type claims. That's why we have disclosures, and that's why we have examples in the guidebooks.
The great part about that is you can be confident on using social media because we've done all the work for you here in the home office. There's the social media blueprint. We want folks on social media if that's something that you feel like will move your business, and we're going to give you what you need to know. So you can be confident when you use it that you're doing it the right way, and those tools are available. Well, let's go to another hot topic.
Sure.
Give me another one.
So another one is OBAs, outside business activities. And you remember you were instrumental in doing this, Peter. We came out with an amended, a revised, a supplemented OBA rule a couple of years ago, and that has worked really well. That has really kind of helped us get our arms around some challenges we were having with lots of OBAs. But it continues to be a challenge. It continues to be a challenge in things that can lead to selling away problems. And so we always have to be careful about that. It can lead to a challenge where people are trying to make money by selling things to our field. And one of the things that we've seen is we have lots of resources on POL that provide sales tools for the field. If somebody's coming to you and wanting you to pay for some other sales tool, and if they're telling you it's approved by the home office, call us and check. Because we do find situations where people are being told that things have been approved by the home office and they haven't been approved. And we never want you to be in a position where your business is at risk because you're using something or engaging in an activity that's not allowed.
A hot topic we always dealt with was information security. I assume that is still the case. Nothing's really changed there, right?
No, it's always going to be a hot topic, Peter. And the reality is there are lots of rules and regulations about confidential information, client information, information security. We deal with those all the time. They can be very complicated. It's frankly also just good business, because the last thing you ever want to do is have to explain to a client how their personal information somehow was lost or distributed. So I think it's really important, particularly now that we have more folks working in a remote environment away from a physical office, that we all have to be especially careful about this. You know, you need to have a shredder, so if you have a client document at your home or at your office, it's getting shredded. It's not just getting put in the trash can. We need to be careful where we're using our computers, and that we have password protection and so forth on our laptops and iPads. And it's just something that, unfortunately, in today's environment, we're always at risk of people out there trying to get their hands on personal information. And we have an obligation to do everything that possibly we can do to protect that for our clients.
You know, we don't want to be responsible for having one of our clients or representatives' identity stolen. And all of that, by the way, is available on POL. So all those rules are in the compliance section on POL. Well, Ben, it's been so great being with you and the General ACM. You know, Glenn and I did it for so long, and your debut, and at least this, I know you've been on before, but your debut in this section has just been spectacular. Enjoyed being with you today. And now we're going to go to Julie, who has a special message.
Welcome to the 2024 Annual Compliance Meeting. We will be presenting the information in this program in an instructional format that covers a broad range of important topics. The primary focus is on assisting you in understanding the requirements for operating a successful and compliant business. We will have field leaders provide a field perspective, offering a real-life view on how many of these topics can significantly impact your business. But before we get started, let's take care of a little housekeeping. All the ACM information you need, including the ACM workbook, is available for download on POL. Please go to the Compliance tab, choose Compliance, US or Canada, click Links, and then ACM. Make sure you review the workbook because it contains vital information that supplements many of the topics you will be viewing today on the ACM program. Accompanying the workbook are the attestations for all Primerica representatives. All representatives must review these general attestations. So make sure you read through those as well. If your securities licensed or if your license is pending, you will need to complete your securities attestations on POL, as well as the securities ACM and firm element portions of this program. In Canada, mutual fund registered representatives will have to view the mutual fund portion of this program and complete the mutual fund attestations. Finally, if you're an RVP or branch manager, we have a segment specifically for you, which will provide information that you will find helpful in that role. Please remember, you must also watch that video for your 2024 ACM and firm element continuing education requirements to be complete. Let's begin this year's annual compliance meeting.
Let's kick it off with one of our most important topics, recruiting and professionalism. Recruiting and professionalism go to the heart of what we do at Primerica and impacts all base shops and every aspect of your business. The company expects all of our representatives to maintain the highest level of professionalism in and out of the base shop and on social media platforms. Representatives signing an independent business application, IBA, agree to act in a way that positively impacts both the company's reputation and the individual's reputation. There's a lot of divisiveness in the world, and everyone is entitled to his or her opinion. We have a diverse field force with varying beliefs, and we should respect different viewpoints. Primerica's goal is to unite around protecting and creating financial security for Main Street families. So, how should our representatives ensure that the highest level of professionalism is the practice in their base shop? It's really very simple. Ensure everyone feels welcome in your business. Provide the same training and support to anyone and everyone who is willing to commit and put in the work. Broadcasting divisive, personal, or political views in the office is not appropriate. You should endeavor to ensure the base shop is a fun, inclusive environment for everyone. In your hierarchies and base shops, focus on training. supporting and developing the business and leadership skills your team needs to succeed in the business. Representatives should always be thoughtful about everything they post on social media, how they recruit, and how they talk about the business opportunity. Representatives should also appropriately describe the opportunity and always maintain professionalism. Today, recruits as well as clients are very computer savvy, and they expect a high level of professionalism, which is what Primerica endeavors to deliver both in the base shop and on social media platforms. The company has created a great tool, Primerica Social, to assist reps with posting compliant, professional material online. Primerica expects all representatives to protect their reputation as well as the reputation of the company by refraining from profanity, rudeness, disparaging language, or flirting online, because such language could be construed as harassment. Treating others with respect and dignity the way you want to be treated will show you value your downlines and clients and their relationship with you. Representatives should ensure that their new recruits understand they are independent contractors joining a business opportunity, not a salary job, and that they will need to study and work to become licensed and field trained. When recruiting, one should always clearly explain the IBA licensing fee and the POL fee they will pay, and how much they are getting for their money. When prospective recruits fill out the IBA, we expect them to provide all required information and sign the IBA themselves. The IBA asks a lot of questions to help the company vet prospective representatives. Here are some guidelines reps should follow when taking an IBA. Make sure all questions are asked exactly as they appear on the IBA and correctly, especially the background history. It's important that recruits are open and honest about any criminal history and/or whether they have ever had action taken against a professional license. They must also make full disclosure of their financial history. Encourage recruits to answer these questions accurately and completely when completing an IBA. Sharing their history doesn't necessarily mean their application will be denied, but not being truthful and/or failing to disclose can adversely impact one's application. The IBA questions are very broad. We don't set a time limit because most life and securities license applications don't set one either. They ask whether someone has ever been convicted or pled guilty to a misdemeanor or a felony. Have you ever means ever, even if the issue happened decades ago. Please remember, if the recruit was pardoned or the case was expunged, the event still occurred and has to be disclosed. It's also important to note that these questions about criminal history and administrative actions aren't limited to activity related to insurance or financial services. Any responsive history must be disclosed, even if it had nothing to do with the financial services industry. Providing all required information on the IBA is important because the company relies on the IBA to help ensure that everything is properly disclosed to the state or provincial insurance and securities regulators when a recruit applies for a life insurance or securities license. For example, let's say you're helping a new recruit complete an IBA. You ask the IBA criminal history question, and the recruit tells you that something happened, but it was years ago. The recruit might remember there was some sort of expungement or maybe a pardon, and maybe it had nothing to do with insurance or financial services. Don't make assumptions about whether or not it has to be disclosed. It must be disclosed. Err on the side of making sure the home office has the information it needs. Full disclosure is important because if some of this information isn't disclosed, it could become a bigger issue later. For example, Canada requires financial disclosures because some recruits may not be eligible for a mutual fund registration due to their financial history, like a bankruptcy or a consumer proposal. A late disclosure or failure to disclose could trigger fines, denial of a license, or even loss of a license. And you don't want to put yourself in a position where your recruit shared it with you initially, but you didn't think it needed to be on the IBA. A word of caution here is that you're putting so much time, energy, and effort into your new recruit. Don't jeopardize their opportunity with Primerica by not doing this the right way. Help make sure your recruits start off on the right track by fully disclosing their history on their IBAs.
It's important all Primerica reps remain in good standing with our regulators. So here's a few legal and compliance reminders to keep in mind. Be sure to notify the home office or head office in Canada immediately when certain events occur, so we can help you make sure that state and provincial laws and regulatory requirements are met. You'll need to notify the home office immediately of legal name changes, marriage or divorce, a change in your home or office address, all felony and misdemeanor charges and convictions, If you are charged with or convicted of a felony and or misdemeanor, and that includes charges that result in a pretrial program, this requirement occurs at the time of the charge, so it's very important to tell us when it happens. Don't wait until everything is completed to let us know. Just like with the IBA, this requirement isn't limited to crimes involving insurance or other financial services. All charges and convictions must be reported, regardless of the nature of the charge. In Canada, any and all criminal charges must also be disclosed. You will also need to notify us if you have filed for bankruptcy, or if a previously reported bankruptcy has been discharged or dismissed, if a garnishment, judgment, or lien has been filed against you or satisfied, if a compromise with a creditor has been filed or satisfied, if there has been any update to an already reported financial event, like a satisfaction of a judgment or lien, new or changes to previously reported outside business activities or employment. If you are contacted by an insurance department or any regulatory agency, any local, state, federal, or private entity that has been empowered with the ability to investigate allegations of criminal or civil misconduct, if any administrative action has been taken by the insurance department, a professional licensing authority, another governmental agency, or a non-governmental regulatory authority like FINRA, and in Canada, the CIRO or the AMF. Having an insurance license or any other professional license or designation, such as a bar license or a nursing license, suspended or revoked. This also includes entering into a consent order with an insurance department or an AWC with FINRA, filing and or dismissal of civil litigation in which you have been named as a defendant or respondent. The states or provinces where you hold a license may also require notification of any of the information just mentioned. This includes both resident and non-resident licensed states and provinces. Remember, it's a rep's responsibility to timely disclose to a state or province when they are required to do so, and that is separate from the obligation to notify the Home Office. In Canada, the standards are the same across all provinces. You'll need to complete reporting as well. If you have any questions, you can always look to the compliance manuals on POL. So you may ask, what happens if you are contacted by a regulator or involved in any legal issues or lawsuits? What do? You should contact the Home Office immediately within 24 hours by contacting the Compliance Help Desk. There is a team of legal and compliance experts there to help you. Also remember to contact your upline RVP or OSJ advisor as well. And remember, one rep may not testify on behalf of another Primerica representative or speak to regulators on behalf of the company. If you aren't sure whether something is reportable or if you have a regulatory issue, please call the Compliance Help Desk. Remember, we're here to help you and your business.
Now let's take a moment to talk about poaching, which boils down to respecting each other's business. Poaching happens when someone incents or encourages a person to leave his or her base shop or hierarchy and go to another base shop. It's imperative for everyone to respect each other's hierarchies. If someone has signed an IBA with a hierarchy, that recruit is protected and is off limits. If someone is unhappy in their base shop, the best course of action is to send the representative back to their RVP, their OSJA, or even a home office representative to try to help them work through their issues. The grass is not always greener, and sometimes the problem is something that will work itself out with more training or a one-on-one with their upline.
Primerica rolled out the next generation of life insurance, Primerica Power Term, Primerica Precision Term in 2022. And our representatives have been so excited about these products. Here's EVP of Marketing, Steve Madison, with more.
In addition to our home office teams, the Life Regional Sales Managers and Field Distribution Directors, and the Life Product page on POL, there are so many resources to assist you with the information you need to best serve our clients and be confident with the sales process. Whether you're a newly life licensed or a seasoned representative, the training materials and other resources available on POL's Life Products page are extremely useful. Take some time to become familiar with these resources and tools to help you with your life insurance business. The Quick Links tab is where you'll find all the new business and policy owner services forms. The Life Operations Guide end of term guide, product rate books, and important contact information are also located under quick links. Click the Sales Tools link for a video tutorial on client authentication and DocuSign processes, as well as a quick quote overview. The Practice Application tab includes a step-by-step demo for a new business application. You'll find fact sheets, training decks, and videos under the Training tab.
To offer life insurance products, take a life application, or engage in any activities that would be considered transacting insurance business, you need an active life insurance license. Keep in mind, you need to be licensed in the state or province where you are located, which is likely your resident state or province, as well as the state or province of sale, as well as the state or province where the applicant is located. Let's dive deeper into what state of sale means. The application form is based on the policy owner's physical location, and you must use that state or province's approved forms. If you are licensed in multiple states, take care to select the proper forms, again, based on the policy owner's physical location. When using the mobile application, the first screen a representative is presented with is the preliminary question screen. This is where you will choose the location that the application, policy change, or reinstatement is being completed. Soliciting business in a state or province where you are not properly licensed and appointed by the company could be a regulatory violation, and in some states, it's considered fraud. Even using unapproved forms can be considered a regulatory violation. Remember, the application can only be submitted by the licensed representative who took the application. That means that it is not permitted to allow one agent to complete a sale and then have that sale signed and submitted by some other partner or agent who was not present at the time of the sale. Allowing someone who is not the actual writing agent to submit business is not an acceptable business practice for many reasons. First, the client may not understand who is the representative for the policy. Second, there could be unlicensed solicitation leading to a client complaint or a regulatory violation. Third, using someone else's code could result in unforeseen compensation challenges and tax consequences. Please be aware that until the individual has been accepted into the Primerica field force by the home office and properly licensed, appointed, and/or registered, under no circumstances may they engage in the business of insurance, securities, or mortgage broker as a member of or on behalf of Primerica. This type of activity puts your Primerica opportunity at risk, and it is strictly prohibited. Before taking an application, with Primerica Power Term and Primerica Precision Term products being rolled out, it has really enhanced the way that we can do business at the kitchen table. Let's discuss some of the differences in the document delivery and signature process. Prior to setting your appointment, you should make sure that all applicable individuals have access to their personal email and text messages on their own personal devices. Applicable individuals are the insured, any third-party payer, any third-party owner. The insured must have access to their phone and email to receive the text message authentication code, as well as receive, review, and sign the state-required disclosures and application through DocuSign. The third-party payer and third-party owner, if different, must also have access to their own devices, phone number, and email addresses, as they will receive their relevant documents directly through DocuSign for review and signature as well. We keep a record of each document delivered, including the date and time each document was signed, as well as the email addresses and phone numbers used to deliver the documents. It is critical that each email address and phone number belongs to the individual using them to sign the application and accompanying disclosures. Duplicate emails and phone numbers should not be used. If any individual does not have access to their personal email and personal mobile phone when taking a Primerica Power Term or Primerica Precision Term application, you must use a paper application. You can find and print paper applications on POL. For Term Now and Custom Advantage clients, you'll still find Term Now and Custom Advantage policy change forms and reinstatement applications on POL and Turbo apps. It's important to remember that the disclosure and signature process for these product forms has not changed. When taking these applications, you will need to have the ability to release the screen to each signer so they can personally input their Social Security number or the Social Insurance number for Canada clients as their signature. You'll also need to provide each individual with the correct disclosure booklet.
Next up, we're taking applications and serving policyholders with Regional Vice President Yuli Curiel. When completing a life insurance application, policy change form PCF, or reinstatement for a client, reps should make sure that the total amount of coverage applied for, the term of the product, and the insurance premiums meet the client's financial needs and ability to pay premiums. Make sure the client knows which policy series they are applying for and that they understand the product they're purchasing. Prepare the client for any possible underwriting requirements. Representatives also need to remember that if new coverage is added to an existing policy or a lapsed policy is reinstated, there may be a new contestability period for that additional or reinstated coverage. The agent should advise the client of this fact when completing the policy change application or reinstatement application. Once you have determined that the client has the right coverage and can afford the premiums, confirm that the client understands the premium billing option they've selected. Clients can pay their premiums via monthly bank draft or by quarterly, semi-annual, and annual direct billing. If the client opts for a monthly bank draft, which has been found to be the most persistent business, clients should understand the draft will occur immediately after the application is submitted to the company. If a third-party payer is involved, ensure that the payer is aware of and has agreed to pay the insurance premium payments. Remember, any acceptable third-party payer or owner may include a grandparent, a parent, a spouse, or a child. If the policy keyman policy, the business must be the policy owner, payer, and beneficiary. A representative cannot be a policy payer if the representative is not an otherwise acceptable third-party payer. Don't forget that third-party owners and or third-party payers are required to properly sign the application.
We've all had to adapt to conducting business virtually, and video conferencing and other digital tools have helped tremendously. It is important to remember that it does not matter how the writing representative is completing the application, policy change form, or reinstatement application. They must ensure it is taken the right way on the right form. Representatives must always ensure that signatures are properly collected. For Primerica Precision Term and Primerica Power Term, this means entering the correct email address and mobile number for each party to receive and sign documents on their own device via the DocuSign process. For Term Now and Custom Advantage, this means releasing the device screen to each party to input their Social Security number as their signature. Some things don't change, and it's something we say every year. There is no circumstance in which one person may sign someone else's name to an application, policy change form, reinstatement, or any other supplemental life insurance documents, ever. The person whose name is on the application or document must provide his or her own signature, no matter how that signature is taken, whether it's a wet signature on a paper application, an electronic DocuSign signature, or releasing the screen to individuals to enter their Social Security number as their signature. The same rule applies. Each individual must receive and sign their own applicable disclosure documents and application. There is no such thing as a signature assist, a convenience signature, or a signature by permission. Only that individual's actual signature, as signed by the individual, is acceptable. Even if you are told you have permission to sign someone else's name, you may not do it. Not ever. How do you make sure you have the right signature? As we talked about earlier, when completing a Primerica Precision Term or Primerica Power Term application, policy change, or reinstatement, ensure each individual has access to their own mobile telephone number and their own email address so that the application and/or supplemental forms may be signed appropriately and required disclosures are received by the right party. If completing a Term Now or Custom Advantage application, policy change, or reinstatement, you must have the ability to release the screen for each applicable individual to sign and authorize the transaction. If you or the client does not have access to the necessary technology, then a paper application is required and must be submitted in that format. Additionally, never, under any circumstances, complete an application over the telephone, FaceTime, instant message, or other messaging apps or email. The only emails approved for life insurance applications are the emails sent through DocuSign directly from the Turbo app. And remember, it is strictly prohibited to complete a paper or PDF application and then subsequently transfer the information to an electronic format in order to expedite processing. Remember, each time you sign an application as the writing representative, you make certain certifications. These include certifying that you witnessed the proposed insured signature and any other applicable signatures. Failing to properly take life insurance applications could result in client complaints, potential regulatory violations, or even impact claims consideration during the contestability period.
As the writing representative, field underwriting is extremely important. The rep is the eyes and the ears of the company, and the rep's knowledge as our field underwriter is the company's knowledge. Reps are personally responsible for asking the insured all the questions on each application, policy change form, or reinstatement application exactly as written, and reps must also ensure that they accurately and completely record on the application all of the answers provided by the applicant or insured. As the writing representative, you are also certifying that you know of nothing affecting the risk that has not been recorded on the application. Doing Zoom or video conferencing calls may create certain visual challenges, but reps can still do their job when field underwriting. So what should reps be aware of? Representatives should always ensure that the video is on and that you can see the proposed insureds throughout the application process. If you observe or become aware of a possible disclosure discrepancy, send an email to notify underwriting of items that we should be concerned about or that weren't disclosed by the applicant. For example, the insured said that they did not use tobacco, but you notice ashtrays all over the house. Keep in mind that if the insured passes away during the policy's contestability period and misstatements relating to medical, criminal, or other histories are discovered, the claim might not be paid. Similarly, if it is discovered that the application, policy change, or reinstatement was not taken properly, it could negatively impact a death claim, or the company could end up having to pay a claim that otherwise may not have been payable. As the writing representative, you are certifying, among other things, that the information recorded on the application is accurate to the best of your knowledge.
This next topic, quality of business, is important to the health of our field force's business. When a Primerica representative sells a life insurance policy, everybody wins. The consumer buys financial protection, the rep and the rep's hierarchy are eligible to earn compensation, and the company brings revenue in the door. All parties play a vital role in the success of the sale. Here are some other considerations representatives should keep in mind. Quality of business starts with selling to policyholders who are serious about and capable of paying their life insurance premium for the term of the policy. Preparing a client thoroughly during the kitchen table appointment, ensuring that they understand that the coverage they are applying for and can afford that coverage, can help representatives ensure that their business stays in force. In addition, based on medical history disclosed, the Life app may suggest submitting the application as COD, as it is likely that the client may be rated or declined. Submitting applications on a COD basis should be used for clients who have been previously declined, have significant medical disclosures, and/or qualifying height or weight concerns. It is highly recommended to follow the Life app suggestions. Declined apps that are COD may avoid a potential chargeback and the impact that policy may have on your taken rate or overall quality of business index. Further, representatives should be aware that clients who opt for the monthly bank draft billing option and purchase multiple product lines have proven to be persistent business. The company has developed some awesome tools that help our representatives with monitoring their business. An excellent tool available to RVPs is the bank account verification system in Virtual Base Shop. Primerica Power Term and Primerica Precision Term applicants also have the option to use Plaid to enter their banking information at the time of application, which can help ensure that the correct banking information is input on the application.
This year, we'd like to address a topic that may not come up often, but it's important to know what to do when it does. Sometimes a client may reach out to you to let you know they're getting a divorce. Many states have laws that impact beneficiary designations following a divorce. These laws differ by state, but they may revoke a beneficiary designation made before a divorce occurred. You may make clients aware of these laws, but you must not interpret their impact on the client. If you become aware of life insurance clients that are involved in a divorce, you should tell them to make sure their own divorce attorneys are aware of all their life insurance policies.
We all know how important social media become for personal and professional networking, and Primerica really has made great strides over the past few years to harness the power of social media while staying in compliance with the regulatory rules on communications that apply to our business. All representatives can now access professionally developed social media posts for use on the 4 major platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and X through Primerica Social. All the content on Primerica Social is pre-approved, and we've made it easy for representatives to simply find a post they like and to share it instantaneously with just a click of a button. New posts are added weekly, so our content library always remains current and relevant. Our content covers many subjects, from recruiting and business overview meetings to motivational quotes, even product education content for our appropriately licensed reps. Best of all, Primerica Social takes the guesswork out of posting compliant content to your social media feed. For more, here's Social Media Field Marketing Manager, Amanda Leba.
Primerica Social has been a great success with the sales force, and representatives are taking the opportunity to use the post to share important insight, to build credibility, and to remind their network of family and friends of the importance of a healthy financial outlook. It's a fantastic tool for prospecting and recruiting. We're finding that social media savvy representatives are excited to post material they know is compliant and won't put their business at risk. Other representatives who may have not been as comfortable using social media for their Primerica business are finding confidence in being able to post professionally developed content. Primerica Social has been a successful collaborative effort between legal and marketing. Working together, we make sure that any content we allow for sharing complies with the regulatory rules that apply to our business. Social media can be considered low-hanging fruit for regulators who go online to look for non-compliant solicitations or communications. We know that state, provincial, and federal regulators are actively enforcing their rules through enforcement actions being regularly taken against firms and representatives, and we've even seen our representatives become the focus of regulatory reviews. From the Federal Trade Commission in the US and the Competition Bureau in Canada, we are seeing intense focus on lifestyle and earnings claims. This is a high-risk area for the business, and so we have to provide very specific guidance on what you can and cannot say when it comes to earned income, milestones achieved, or demonstrating how your Primerica opportunity has impacted your life. Let's talk about where you should go to find the do's and don'ts of posting content on social media. First, Primerica rules on the internet and social media are clearly laid out in the Field Marketing Manual. The Field Marketing Manual is easily accessible under Primerica Online. And we have the Social Media Blueprint available in the Social Media and Digital Optimization Center on POL's homepage. This tool highlights the major compliance considerations and details, things that you may do online, as well as things you must not do. We give you specific rules for the different kinds of posts you may want to make, such as recognizing milestones and other achievements, discussing financial concepts, or sharing third-party content. We also provide platform-specific guidance for Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Primerica Social takes the guesswork out of compliance. It is the most surefire way to protect your business on social media platforms. But unfortunately, we do have those rare instances of representatives who post on social media about their Primerica business using content that is not in compliance. Regulators continue to include a surge of social media in their exams, and we continue to witness hefty fines issued against firms and representatives for their non-compliant online activities. Our review of social media continues to reveal that representatives are too often posting non-compliant earnings and lifestyle claims, improper product solicitations, and misstatements about the business opportunity, such as using words like hire and job, or intentionally hiding their affiliation with Primerica. Again, these are low-hanging fruit for our regulators, and they can easily result in regulatory action if these posts are visible to or shared with the regulator. In addition to regulatory risks, homegrown non-compliant content can also result in reputational damage to your business. Finally, continued non-compliance with Primerica rules can result in disciplinary action against you. Given the regulatory environment, we have no choice but to take compliance with these rules very seriously. As always, we want to be sure that you fully understand the rules and the reasons why they exist. To get started with Primerica Social, go to POL and click on the Social Media and Digital Optimization tab. From there, Click on Access Primerica Social, and this will take you there, where you can link your social media accounts and begin browsing and sharing content. And of course, we love to hear from the field and welcome any ideas or comments about our contact. Reps can email socialmedia@primerica.com with any questions or comments they may have about Primerica Social, as well as using social media to market their business. For any social media compliance related questions, reps can email socialmediaadvisory@primerica.com.
The Agent Request System, ARS, is a tool available to you that provides an easy way to submit speaking engagements and advertising requests online. ARS is accessible on POL under the My POL tab, and then all apps for business and client management and other tools. You can also access ARS by going to the Compliance US tab on POL and selecting Agent Request System, Speaking Engagements, Fast Schools. All representatives are required to in-person meetings. Remember that a meeting where you will be speaking to more than 2 unrelated people would be considered a speaking engagement. In addition, you are required to obtain pre-approval for any job fairs, expos, tables, or booths. A securities principal licensed representative must be present for the entirety of any expo or job fair event. All speaking engagements, job fair, and expo requests should be submitted for approval within 1 week of the event. Any last-minute requests may not be approved in time for the event, so please try to give us as much time as possible to review your request. Keep in mind that business overview meetings or op night meetings do not require pre-approval. When requesting approval of your speaking engagement, you will be asked to include information regarding the materials you intend to use. You will either select the pre-approved material from a drop-down menu, or if the material you plan to use is not listed in the drop-down menu, you will be required to identify the presentation in the note section of your submission, along with the evidence of home office approval, usually a 6 to 10-digit tracking ID number that appears in the footer of pre-approved materials. You will also need to report as part of your speaking engagement request in ARS whether you will be receiving cash, non-cash compensation from a mutual fund or annuity company for your planned event. This includes Fast Start Schools that involve cash, non-cash compensation. For these requests, you will also be required to provide the mutual fund annuity company's name, the wholesaler's name, the dollar amount being provided, and the nature of the expenses, meals, hotel, room rental, etc. These types of requests are conditionally approved. You will only receive final approval after you upload the list of securities license representatives who attended the event to your submission. Failure to timely provide the list of attendees may result in potential disciplinary action. ARS should also be used if you create your own recruiting or marketing content. Approvals for customized content are good for 1 year, at which time any content you plan to continue to use should be resubmitted for approval. Any media interviews, podcasts, radio advertising, or request to engage in online recruiting can also be submitted for approval in ARS. Again, please provide us with at least 1 week for review. Complex requests may take longer. We work hard to return approval of content to you as soon as possible, but keep in mind that you cannot use your materials or participate in your event until you have received formal approval. If you have any questions regarding ARS or any speaking engagement or advertising request, please email usmarketingadvisory@primerica.com.
Another tool developed to manage your business is Client Relationship Manager, also referred to as CRM. CRM was developed with your Primerica business in mind to help you build relationships and remain engaged with your clients. CRM is a reservoir for contact data, and it was specifically developed to help our reps expand their reach while developing their Primerica business. Reps can use CRM to drive follow-ups and see opportunities for activity. CRM is built to assist you with account services, record keeping, sales tracking, and delivery. All of these features will also help our representatives operate a compliant business.
Online scheduling tools have become a popular and preferred method of locking in meetings with clients, prospects, and recruits. While scheduling tool sites such as those available through third-party companies like Calendly or Acuity do offer an opportunity for you to solicit and manage business appointments. They are also subject to regulatory scrutiny. The content you may post on these sites, as well as any messaging through the sites, is subject to the same regulatory supervision and record-keeping requirements as the other online content, such as websites and social media posts and other communications, such as emails and texts. For this reason, we have developed simple and easy-to-follow rules that address your use of scheduling tools for your Primerica business and will help keep your use of these tools compliant. Here's Senior National Sales Director Brad Gerard with more.
The first rule you must follow in order to stay compliant when using scheduling tools is that all representatives are required to use their Primerica.com email with any scheduling tools that you use for your Primerica business. Be sure to set email notifications so that all appointment details are emailed to your Primerica.com email address, including all information entered by the individual requesting the meeting. Rule number 2. You may link your scheduling tool from any of the platforms listed below. RMC emails, Primerica hosted websites or pages like RMC landing pages at livemore.net, or social media profiles and pages, or even email, text messages, or in person. Rule number 3, your use of the scheduling tools must be limited to scheduling appointments. You may collect the following personal information when requesting appointments: first name, last name, email address, or phone number, which is optional. You may not collect the following information: sensitive personal information, like account or policy number, date of birth, social security number, or social insurance number in Canada. Information regarding the individual's current financial situation or circumstances is also not allowed. Rule number 4, generic meeting categories and descriptions are permitted. Examples include time slots, 1-hour appointment or 30-minute meeting, or general meeting descriptions like meeting appointment or overview. Product-related meeting categories are not permitted. 401k rollover meeting or insurance overview or investment planning or retirement savings overview are examples of meeting titles that are not permitted. Rule number 5, product-related references or discussions are prohibited. Any product-specific solicitations on scheduling tools are subject to regulatory and legal disclosure, supervision, and record-keeping requirements. Rule number 6, only approved content may be used when setting up your scheduling tool. You may include a link to your Primerica Rep website. Your use of the scheduling tool must be limited to scheduling appointments. You may not use a scheduling tool as a profile page or business page. Scheduling tools will not be approved if they appear to be standalone promotional sites. Do not use your scheduling tool to link to or embed other videos or websites. So for questions regarding these rules regarding your use of scheduling tools sites, please email us_marketingadvisory@primerica.com. For questions about linking to scheduling tool sites from your RMC landing pages or on your RMC emails, please contact CRM_feedback@primerica.com.
As a Primerica representative, clients are trusting you with some of their most sensitive personal information, and it's your responsibility to keep that information safe. Protect clients by taking the time to learn and follow our privacy and cybersecurity rules. Setting up the right protections from the start will help you avoid painful mistakes that could lose a client's trust and their business. First, start the client relationships on the right foot by using our privacy notices to explain how we protect information at Primerica. For U.S. reps, whenever you meet with a potential client to discuss a product, you need to deliver the U.S. customer privacy notice for that client state. All our U.S. customer privacy notices are in English and Spanish and can be found in the privacy link at the bottom of Primerica.com under U.S. customer privacy notices. When you're recruiting or talking to prospective recruits who live in California, point them to our CCPA notice for California residents. This is also located on our privacy link at the bottom of Primerica.com, and it is included in the IBA for all recruits in California. In Canada, our privacy disclosure and consent notices are already part of our product applications. Clients who want more details can see our full Canadian privacy code, which is in the privacy link at the bottom of our website. Second, report suspected security incidents to Primerica immediately. This includes whenever there is any reason to suspect that an unauthorized person has gained or attempted to gain access to client files or rep files or lists, or a device storing client files or rep files or lists. This also includes any time that documents containing client or rep information in any form are reasonably believed to have been lost, stolen, or otherwise exposed to unauthorized persons, such as a computer hack. When reporting a security incident, if a theft or crime has occurred, call law enforcement first. Then contact the compliance help desk immediately to report the incident to the home office. After making the report, notify your RVP. Many regulators require reporting of certain types of incidents within days or even 24 hours after discovery. After you report the incident, Primerica Home Office will help determine whether any authorities or clients need to be notified. So remember to contact the compliance help desk whenever you have reason to suspect that client files or rep documents, lists, or files have been lost, stolen, or otherwise exposed to unauthorized people. The company will ask what type of personal information was in the documents or on the devices that were stolen, lost, or compromised. And whenever an electronic device is involved, our most important question is whether the device is encrypted. Encryption is the key. Is our third topic. Make sure you set up encryption on all devices that contain rep or client files or lists. For laptop and desktop computers, you can activate encryption a few different ways, but it is more than just setting a password. If you have a Mac computer, you can turn on File Vault encryption. It comes with the Mac, but you need to go into your settings to turn File Vault on. Similarly, certain PC computers come with BitLocker encryption, but again, you need to check if it's available for your computer and then manually turn it on. Or you can download and install Checkpoint Endpoint Encryption protection from POL. It is available to download as part of a POL subscription. To encrypt your phone, tablet, or other mobile device, set up your device so that if you leave it somewhere, a stranger cannot open it without entering the password, passcode, or use fingerprint or Face ID login. Taking that step will activate built-in encryption on most Apple and Android phones and tablets. Again, encrypting your laptop or desktop computer is different than a phone or tablet and requires extra steps, more than just setting a password on the computer. For phones and tablets, don't save any sensitive personal information on them, even temporarily. Phones and tablets are lost and stolen all the time, and they just don't have the protections required for storing sensitive personal information. Sensitive personal information is all the stuff that hackers are looking for so that they can steal your identity. It includes things like social security numbers, social insurance numbers in Canada, driver's license numbers, and any government ID numbers, dates of birth, health information, payment card numbers, bank and investment account numbers, and fingerprints. Remember to never keep photos of a driver's license or other photo ID or photos of any other sensitive documents on your phone. Here are some simple but key guidelines to follow to protect sensitive personal information. 1. Don't keep copies of sensitive personal information anywhere unless you need to maintain it there due to retention requirements or for business purposes. 2. For paper files that contain sensitive personal information, keep them locked inside your secure, locked office. 3. Keep all of your electronic files in Primerica systems like POL, BBS, CRM, and TurboApps. If you have any personal information on an electronic device, even just client or rep lists, then make sure the device is encrypted. If the document contains sensitive personal information, then only save the document on a computer that is encrypted with antivirus and malware protection and meets all our other stringent cybersecurity requirements for devices that store sensitive personal information. And make sure to delete the document and empty the computer trash as soon as you are done processing it. 4. If you need to drive somewhere with a paper document or computer containing client or rep information, then never leave it in the car unless you're in the car too. Car break-ins still occur frequently, and it's important to stay vigilant over these types of incidents. Lastly, let's discuss secure email. When it comes to sending emails, hackers can intercept regular emails, so you need to be careful not to put sensitive personal information in the body of an email or its attachment unless you are sending a secure email. First, when conducting Primerica business via email, and especially when dealing with sensitive personal information, always use your Primerica.com email address. Next, double check and triple check that you typed in the correct email address before you hit send. A bad email address is a very common and easy mistake to make. If you are sending the email outside of Primerica, such as to a client or prospect, then use the secure email feature in the Primerica.com email system. It is available to all reps, and it is all so simple and easy to use. All you have to do is click the Secure button. When you do, the word secure surrounded by chevrons appears in the email subject, so you know it's secure. Leave it there and don't delete it, or it won't be secure anymore. The client will then create a username and password to access the secure email within the portal. The client will see the message you wrote in the email body and any documents attached to it. The client can reply with sensitive personal information if they stay within the portal. This is not to say you can't use the trusted old-fashioned methods, which are still available, like handing over documents in person by snail mail or fax machines. If you're emailing someone from Primerica, your email is secure when sending from your Primerica.com email address to another Primerica.com email address. But make sure your email program doesn't fill in that person's Gmail address by mistake. Also, make sure that there are no non-Primerica.com email addresses copied or BCC'd on the email, or it will no longer be secure. Anytime you send or receive an email with an attachment that contains sensitive personal information, be careful where you download and save that attachment. Only save the document on a computer that is encrypted and meets all our other stringent cybersecurity requirements for devices that store sensitive personal information. Delete the document from your computer as soon as you are done processing it and empty the computer trash bin. Another big cybersecurity topic is passwords. First, always use long, complex passwords for websites related to your Primerica business. Longer passwords that contain numbers and special characters are generally much more secure, but you also need to be able to remember your passwords. One tip is to pick a phrase or quotation with punctuation and replace some words with numbers, like the number 4 for the word for. Next, never share any Primerica business-related passwords with anyone else, not even your office manager or spouse. If an office manager needs access to an RVP's POL account, then the RVP needs to set them up with additional POL user access through their own unique login and password. Similarly, never sign into anyone else's business accounts using their passwords, and that includes never registering for or signing into a client's online accounts using the client's information. That is prohibited, even if the client told you to do it. Our last cybersecurity topic today is about phishing. Hackers have figured out some creative ways to try and trick people online. These are known as phishing attempts, and you should be suspicious of all unexpected phone calls, texts, social media messages, and emails, especially if they ask for money, your password, or any of your personal information or client details. Some hackers pretend that they are IT support and will even put their hacker phone number on a pop-up that appears on your computer, instructing you to call to fix your computer. Don't call. And if someone asks you to pay them by gift card or cryptocurrency, that is a sign that it's a scam. If you happen to receive a suspicious text or email, don't click on any links or attachments. You can call the person or company who supposedly sent it to you to make sure it's real, but do not call the number that is listed in the email or respond to the email. Always verify the contact information outside of the email. You should also forward suspicious emails to our tech pros who will take a look.
Money laundering is generally defined as taking actions designed to conceal or disguise the true source or sources of funds derived from criminal activity, so that those funds appear to have come from legitimate sources. Keep in mind, this can happen in lots of different industries or lines of business, including securities, mortgage, and with fixed or fixed index annuities. When it comes to mortgages, regulators tell us that we should be on the lookout for clients who are willing to overpay or lose money when purchasing a property and have no regard for the property's condition or location. Also, be on the lookout for possible shell or non-legitimate companies looking to buy expensive properties. With more on anti-money laundering, here's Senior National Sales Director, Bree McNeil.
Real estate could be a target, especially when it comes to manipulating mortgages. Spotting those unusual actions can be tricky. Watch for clients who do things like present bank statements or other documents which appear to be false or altered in some way, claim they are employed when you know they really aren't, or claim to be using a property as a primary residence in order to obtain better loan terms when you know they don't intend to live at that property. These examples are potential indicators of mortgage fraud, which is a type of money laundering. These topics can be challenging to address directly with your clients. So please contact the Compliance Help Desk at home office if you hear about or even suspect any of these things. In general, the same red flags apply across all of our business lines. Red flags include the following situations. A client refuses to identify the source of funds or provides false or misleading information. Frequent changes to the bank account of record and/or address of record in order to process redemption. A lot of small wire transfers or deposits using cashier's checks. Withdrawals shortly after a purchase and the client doesn't seem to care about the fees or penalties. A business owner who won't explain his or her business dealings. Numerous purchases and redemptions very close in time to each other. These examples are certainly not an exhaustive list, and there could be many other situations that seem suspicious or just a little bit unusual. So please be vigilant and report any potential red flags to the compliance help desk at the home office. The contact information is on the screen and can also be found on POL.
Financial exploitation continues to rise each year as our elderly population grows. In addition to that growth, we're beginning to experience what is referred to as the Great Wealth Transfer. Over the next 25 years, an estimated 45 million households will transfer approximately $68 trillion from older generations to younger generations. We always need to be on the lookout for red flags. A couple of examples are when a caregiver shows excessive interest in the elderly or vulnerable person's finances. Maybe they don't allow them to speak for themselves or are reluctant to leave the elderly or vulnerable person's side when you want to discuss their financial needs. Or when a new person is suddenly involved in your client's financial affairs, such as a new power of attorney or a family member who recently moved in with the elderly person. Other warning signs to watch out for are the client starts taking unexplained or unusual redemptions, especially when they're not concerned with sales charges or surrender fees. The client won't discuss the reasons for withdrawals or changes the reason each time you talk. The client appears to be coerced or doesn't appear to have control over his or her money. It's not only the elderly who are at risk, but anyone suffering from diminished capacity. Some examples are when a client to process simple concepts, has memory loss, and may show confusion about transactions in their account, is unable to appreciate the consequences of decisions, or has erratic behavior and maybe makes decisions inconsistent with their goals. Unfortunately, there seems to be a rise in the US and in Canada of scams that concern elderly or vulnerable persons, especially online scams. Online scams have become a fast, convenient way for bad actors to take advantage of large numbers of people. We encounter many online scams where an unknown person initiates a relationship with an elderly or vulnerable person. Sometimes it's a romantic relationship, other times it's a friendship. These people have never met in person, but the bad actor takes advantage of the relationship to convince the innocent person to send them money. Some other examples of scams are emails requesting money be sent in order to receive a large return, a group claiming to raise money for a charity, or a supposed military person requesting help in order to come home. We recently had a field leader call us when their client suddenly started taking withdrawals from their account. When the client was asked about the reasons, there was always a different story. At first, the funds were needed to assist a friend in getting back home to the US. When our rep questioned the client further, the story changed, and the funds were needed for various other reasons, including home repairs and then to purchase a vehicle. As it turns out, the client only spoke to the friend online and was simply following along with everything that friend was telling them to do. Because the rep called us right away, we were able to look into the situation and explain to the rep and the client that the person online was not who they claimed to be. This put a stop to the unexplained withdrawals and helped save the client's funds from being stolen. You know your client and their typical behavior, so if you ever feel that something just doesn't seem right, never hesitate to reach out to the home office to discuss your concerns. We understand that these can be extremely challenging conversations to have with your clients, but we can't help if we don't know about them. So thank you. Sadly, another common situation we see involves caregivers or family members taking advantage of an elderly or vulnerable client. Red flags to be on the lookout for include when the caregiver or family member has become more involved or more interested in the client's financial situation. They may ask a lot of questions about how to access the client's money or what specific documentation might be required. Sometimes the family member or caregiver even pretends to be the client and provides the client's personal identifying information to try to access account details to which they are not entitled. Keep in mind, there can be perfectly legitimate reasons for caregivers or family members to get involved. But if something seems unusual about the situation or it just doesn't seem right, call the home office so we can help. As you can see, it is very important that if you suspect a situation like this happening, or if you're concerned that a client is suffering from diminished capacity or maybe a victim of financial exploitation, you should proceed cautiously and immediately call the Compliance Help Desk to report your concerns. Here are the numbers for both US and Canada. Federal, state, and provincial regulators, state and provincial agencies, and law enforcement in the US and Canada are very much focused on financial dealings with elderly and/or vulnerable clients. The company is required to investigate and, if necessary, report all cases of suspected financial abuse or exploitation of an elderly or vulnerable client. Securities licensed reps can help their investments and savings clients be proactive by designating trusted individuals as secondary contacts when opening a new account and when updating account information for an existing account. It's important to collect secondary contact information from clients because the home office can contact this person to address possible financial exploitation and use them as a resource to help protect your client and his or her assets. You can help clients designate a secondary contact by asking them when you are completing a new account application or by submitting a secondary contact information form if the account is already open. For platform mutual funds, reps can also update secondary contact information in Shareholder Account Manager under the Account Profile section. In Canada, reps can submit a trusted contact form. Both can be found on POL. Just follow the click path on the screen. In the US, you can find additional information about specific responsibilities regarding elderly and vulnerable clients on POL. You can review Section 5 of the Securities Compliance Manual, and for California, there's a state-specific guideline listed in the Insurance Compliance Manual, as well as secondary addressee requirements for Florida and Vermont.
Let's wrap up General ACM and Insurance with Senior Vice President of Mortgage Marketing, Nate Collette.
To participate in the Primerica Mortgage Program, you must be life licensed with a clean compliance track record. In California, you need to be both life and securities licensed. If you qualify, you will receive an invitation to participate in your state of residence when the mortgage program becomes available in that state. The mortgage licensing team will assist you through the licensing process. To become licensed as a mortgage loan originator, which is commonly referred to as an MLO, you must complete a minimum of 20 hours of pre-licensing education, a criminal background check, a credit check, disclosure questions regarding your personal and regulatory history, and a licensing test with a passing score of 75%. The MLO must be licensed in the state where the property to be mortgaged is located. Only licensed MLOs can participate in the mortgage business in any way. You must be MLO licensed to solicit, accept, or take mortgage loan applications, to offer or negotiate terms of a mortgage loan, or to assist in mortgage processing. Please remember that the MLO license is for the individual representative only and does not cover spouses, partners, office managers, or other individuals. Please keep in mind that a licensed MLO must always keep their information and disclosure question responses up to date in the nationwide mortgage licensing system, which is known as NMLS, which is a national system used by state regulators to handle licensing. A licensed MLO who is designated as a branch manager must notify the home office licensing team immediately or at least 45 days prior to relocating if they plan to relocate their office. The state regulators will require advance notice of a relocation, and in some states, a relocation must be approved by the regulator before it can occur. Failure to meet these notification requirements could potentially result in fines and additional regulatory scrutiny. As a licensed MLO, your role will be to assist your client through the loan application and origination process, and to drive the loan through the registration and closing processes with Rocket Mortgage or Spring EQ. You will also be responsible for ensuring that all necessary documentation and information is relayed to Rocket Mortgage or Spring EQ to enable them to underwrite the loan application. It's important to understand that the licensed MLO has the duty to ensure that any documentation provided to the lender, such as income documentation, is represented accurately and in accordance with product requirements. For example, Documentation should not be provided representing that withdrawals from a non-income producing asset, like an index-linked variable annuity, generates income. Representatives can and should refer the client to the MLO for a mortgage if there is a need. However, the MLO cannot pay a referral fee. Referral fees are absolutely prohibited by a number of different regulations. Since reps are familiar with anti-money laundering and privacy regulations, there are also several important federal regulations impacting the mortgage business, including fair lending regulations that require doing business in a manner that does not illegally discriminate intentionally or unintentionally against the applicants. The unfair, deceptive, or abusive acts or practices, commonly referred to as UDAP, makes it illegal for mortgage brokers to engage in any unfair, deceptive, or abusive acts and practices. The Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, or RESPA, requires lenders and mortgage brokers to provide various disclosures to borrowers concerning real estate transactions and prohibits the payment of referral fees. Additionally, Primerica Mortgage LLC must be licensed at the company level in the state where we participate in the mortgage business. In each state where Primerica Mortgage is licensed, the state has their own laws that MLO licensed representatives need to be aware of. Primerica is currently licensed in a number of states with more on the horizon. For the latest update, you can go to POL under the Products tab under Mortgage Loans US or Canada.
And this concludes the general ACM and insurance for this year. If you are live licensed, congratulations. This completes your
All right, we made it. Friday night at time 8:29. You guys made it through annual compliance. You are all compliant now. Hey, listen, for those of you that made it through, I want to congratulate you. Send a text message to your coach, your direct coach, your regional vice president that I was on, because we need to check you guys off for your compliance. And guys, listen, we've had situations before where people have come to compliance and then they went out and they helped some families and they got re-engaged in the business and they have exploded their business. And so I'm gonna coach some of you to take this opportunity as a time to get re-engaged with us, lock arms with us. We're over 150,000 licensed agents, stock nearing $300 a share. Primerica's on fire. We're on fire. This organization's on fire. We're ready to go to the next level. And we are just heading into fourth quarter right now. So let this be your finish to 2024, but the greatest start to your 2025. Let's go out, have an explosive weekend. Oh, so good to see you on. We will see you guys next week on Friday Night Live.